Howdy, Beefalo Bart here, and welcome to the Beefalo Show. Thank you for stopping in and taking a look, and if you're watching the live stream, then thank you and welcome. If you're watching this after the fact, then thank you and welcome. Anyway, moving right along. What we are going to do today is we're still going to be thinking about overall thoughts on 1.8. And the gear layout and so forth, and the overall gist of what we think is going to happen whenever 1.8 does hit the shelf. Now, one of the things that I wanted to look at really quickly and show off was, if you go into your dossier screen on 1.8, you're going to see that no longer do we just have Global Event Outbreak and Assault. There's two more available, Strike and Ambush. Absolutely no clue what these are just yet. If you open up and we'll look at the Global Event Strike, the objectives for completing these, all paying off a single cipher key fragment, yay. Baby steps. Complete an activity in the Strike playlist with a modifier activated. That should be relatively simple. Just complete any of the activities, even though we don't know what the hell they are. And the same is going to be on severe or critical strike mission using only security skills. That should be interesting, and we'll take a look at that to see what the actual security skills would be. Let's see, and there's what, 3 different levels of that. And this should give you an idea of what the missions are going to be, which is going to be Lincoln Tunnel, Lexington Event Center, Times Square, Power Plant, and Stolen Signal. So I'm assuming you would have to have the DLCs to be able to run that, because you're going to need to have it for Stolen Signal. Yeah, I can see Lexington's going to be a really popular one. Lincoln Tunnel's really easy to do. Times Square on Legendary can be a pain in the ass. The Power Plant, the same thing. So those two are going to be your easy ones to run. Lexington's probably the easiest of them all. Let's see. Handbags at Dawn. All you have to do is set down 5 support stations. Assuming, you know, that's for each stage, perhaps. So you're talking maybe, what, 25? Still really easy to accomplish. Complete all of the events. Yeah, so we'll take a look at this. Kill 10 Riker bosses. Get 5 event caches. So I'm assuming, since there's 6, we'd have to do that about 30 times, which is what it was for the last one. And then Global Event Ambush. Kill 30 enemies whilst moving. Fancy word, whilst. Trigger free movement. Not quite sure what free movement is, so we'll have to find that out whenever it comes along. And let's see if it gives a mission list. Kill 30 enemies whilst stationary. Alrighty then. And whilst free movement in any ambush playlist mission. So the missions have not been set yet. As you can see right here, it needs to be in World Tier 5 and hard or above, and that's all it says. So it could be any mission, or it could be 5 or whatever. Yeah, we'll find out more as we go. But with Strike, utilizing security only, which would mean your ballistic shield, smart cover, mobile cover, and I'm assuming you may or may not have to use Survivor Link. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty easy if you're going to run D3 set and just blast right through it. So that should be easy enough to accomplish all those. Even if you're not using a full D3 set, you could use 80 set and then just throw out a shield. You just wouldn't be able to use turrets, seekers. Well, that'd be sucky for me. No sticky bombs. No medical stuff. Interesting. So you wouldn't be able to use any of the support stations, your boosters, or pulses. Alright, so for now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I can only assume that I'm actually using my Nomad set here. I don't know which gear set I have loaded. Do like the reload speed though. And what we'll do is, since we're close to it, we'll walk over here to Napalm. We'll just skip through there merrily, just to see how well it performs, with this set. And why not? Let's run it in. I'll just do it in hard mode. I'm not feeling too awful froggy at the moment. Pardon the sniffles, and I do have to say that I am not feeling too particularly well today. So I'll see how well the mission goes, or the video goes here. Hold too much cover-wise. I have the firepower and I have the ability to not shoot very well, but at least not have to. Weak spots, huh? Let's see if we can hit those weak spots. Oops. My bad. So yeah, it is nice having a gear set to where I can run a hard mode mission and really don't have to feel squishy. Hide behind cover the entire time and play hide and go seeker. What we're gonna do here is something a little different than I normally do. Again, since I have the capability of withstanding damage, let's take the high road. I never do this. Never have. That's what I wanted. Some weak spot hits. Is that all of them? Four to five. What did I miss? I missed the one downstairs. Okay. Fire enough. So yeah, that was just, I know this is hard mode, but it was really, really easy. Never actually run the high side like that for running this mission. I've always just done the same thing over and over again. Run down to right there at those seekers, or hide behind that over there at those seekers. Or, that's just my primaries of what I've done. This time I didn't need to hide. That's the nice thing. Now, at some point, I'm going to need to carry my butt back over to the live server and start preparing my main characters, because I do have my tactician skill with the the secrets and whatnot. I could do my usual just hide and go seek routine here. Yes, Mr. Sniper, I know you're here. I find this interesting. The tanker just exploded, right? You see that. I see that. Oopsie. I'm sorry. Were you trying to get my attention? My bad. With the tanker already destroyed, at what point now do we really need to worry about starting the demolition sequence and why? We still have to power up the generator, but why do we need to? It's kind of a pointless procedure at this point. Why did I pick up that shotgun? I'm a loot whore. Start the detonation sequence. Okay. What's it gonna blow up? Just say it, you know. The whole idea was to demolish that fuel tank, and, well, it's gone already. What happens now if I don't defend it? Maybe get over there and deactivate the explosion after. I'm sorry, I'm ignoring you. Yes, I was potentially shooting his shield. Okay, you're starting to annoy me. Oh no, you might stop the demolition sequence. What the hell is wrong with you? Yourself on fire? What are you doing over there? What are you doing? What are you doing? I was getting your ass kicked. Drop anything good? No. So now I have to wait out the timer to stop a pointless detonation. Yeah, what the hell? And then rearm, stand here at the gate and wait for it to open. Wow, it rematerialized so that it could then blow up again. That's awesome. Hey, did you know there's an active echo beacon over there? You know, I probably have never on this particular character. I did it on one just so I could say, okay, I've 100% of the game. Ooh. Take automatic to your crotch. I forgot one. I always forget this one over here. Ah, yes, this is hard mode, and it is not even close to a challenge with this game. I mean, not even close. This is the worst thing I've had happen so far, was being disoriented. Let's just get Froggy and throw out this thing. Let's get the rearm here. And clear. Still have 85 rounds up to the mag. Yeah, maybe I should have done legendary just to give it a shot and see how challenging legendary might actually be. Which makes me think, what about Times Square legendary? It's already, with the Seeker build, it's already doable. Pain in the ass, but doable with my squishy set. Just running around and playing hide and go Seeker with that, but this gear set, we'll have to see. And around the first part of Stolen Signal without any real issues. Come here to me. That's new. I really never saw them just like get scared and fall down before. Excuse me, but I'm on fire. Leave me alone. I'm coming. Give me a minute. I had to kill your friends. Excuse me, but I'm killing your friend. Seriously, you just freaked out and just jumped completely over the edge. Alrighty then. Come on, Joe, let's get it over with. Come on. Yes, you had problems with your straps. Don't care. Now the reload time is real. So do you butt goblins know that the building is severely on fire? And that you will also die if you do not escape. Now I must hurry. With this gear set, it was really just not even a challenge. I goofed off. I mean, if I was really trying to do it seriously, I could have cleared it a lot faster, probably. Actually, I'm pretty sure I could have cleared it a lot faster. Now, being overconfident, you know, if I were to go directly into this and start running it in legendary mode, I'd probably get my ass handed to me. MP7. Swift. Responsive. Fair. Unforgiving. Adept. Not worth holding on to. Not sure why I have you. Alright, so being that that was relatively easy, let's actually take a look at Times Square Legendary. Just to absolutely see how doable it is with this gear set. dump some garbo. Now, it may be a breeze, it may be actually challenging, because the NPCs do hit a lot harder, so I might actually have to use a little bit of caution and a little bit of restraint here. It's a good possibility. Alright, I'm just going to try a little bit of it. If it goes well at the beginning, then I'll just keep running it. If not, then we'll just go back to doing whatever. You have to use restraint. But, you know, I guess that would have been smarter way just to actually run in there, pick up those guys first. These guys are going to play hide around the obstacles here. Easy enough, though. Go for the melee attack, you go boy. Wow. Yep, that was a kind of a fail there. So yeah, charging in probably wasn't the best idea at that point, but knowing how that is, then that's not a problem. Back to the old method of running back to this room. Wasn't expecting him to spawn yet, though. I didn't think that that would actually trigger. So the other option is actually come over here. Okay, they just got exponentially harder for some reason. And previous, what I would do was actually stay up here, and you know, if you have a method that works, you should probably stick with it. If you stick up here, you can actually catch them as they're coming to the stairwell and put them down rather quickly. It takes a little bit longer to pull them, but what I've done with the secret turret build is actually set up here, deploy a turret low down, and just let the turret do the work. These guys hit pretty hard for a red. Third person view for the loss. couldn't see to aim because I was looking at a window. So we're going to leave this alone. This is something for experimentation for another time. Because getting past that one stage right there, once I'm past that, it's going to be easy enough to really work with. You know, it is so not hard to actually make a first-person view out of a third-person shooter. I really did I mention that I really dislike third-person view? I understand why developers create a third-person, and I realize why pathetic little bastards love players like third-person view. And it's because, well, I attribute it to a large lack of skill. Because as let me find a good example here. As I am hiding behind a corner, taking cover, I have full view of anything and everything that's coming. If I have to shoot at that right there, the Kobe sign, then I can now put my crosshairs on it. And as soon as I right-click to aim, it's going to go right to that point. And if you're using cover for PvE, PvP, whatever, if you're using cover, you can very easily see everything that's down in this direction right here. If you want to see this way, you just come over to this corner. But if you're on a first-person view, if you want to look around that corner, you're going to have to look around the corner. You're going to have to expose your body or parts of it and do a lean maneuver or what have you, just so you can see around it. It requires a little bit more skill to not get your face blasted off, because you actually have to think before you move. By having a third-person view, I think, is akin to cheating. Because in real life, you don't have third-person view. You can't look around a corner without actually looking around a corner. And I can see where pathetic losers, people like the third-person view, because it eliminates a variable out of this situation. And honestly speaking, how hard is it to explain the difference between first person and third person? Okay, if you create a first person shooter, you are looking through the eyes of the character, and if you can envision the little cutout in my mask here where my eyes are, is where the camera would be located. And what you're going to see then is, if you look down, you really are not going to see your own legs or your own body for the most part. All you're going to see as you're moving around and looking around is a set of arms and your weapon, and that is it. So for a first-person view, if you're in a single-player game, all you have to draw for the player is a set of arms with a gun in it. And every time you create a new gun, you got to create the arms to go with it. And all you're doing is copy and paste, essentially, to import a pistol or a rifle or submachine gun or whatever animation for the arms. Now, when you go to a multiplayer game and you have a first-person shooter, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to create those same elements for your first-person view. But now you're going to have to make it to where all those players that are running around, you can see them. And if they're carrying SIG MPX, then you can see that they're carrying a SIG MPX, and they're wearing a tuxedo hat with a freaking headstock and a tuxedo. Yeah, you can see everything about them. So you actually have to draw the first-person view stuff and the third-person, essentially the separate models for the separate players. However, there's another approach to that, and anybody who's ever created anything in like Unreal Engine 4, essentially what you end up doing is you take the camera, the follow camera, essentially, for a third-person view. And as you see, if I'm looking as close to level as possible, directly straight through what my eyes would be seeing on the character, then the camera is to the rear and to the right of the player. And that's good enough, but I'm just not following with it. What you do is you take that same camera, and instead of it being a follow camera, you attach that to the skeletal socket of the head of the player character. And then at that point, you move the camera forward and over and up and down or whatever it takes to now position the lens of the camera, which is a visible object in Unreal Engine 4. I'm not sure about other engines, but now you can position it in such a way that when you look down, you might actually see the front of your body. And if you look at any of my videos on creating the game, then, or creating a game, whenever you look down, you can actually see your legs and your hands and the weapon and so forth. And as you're running, you see it bobbing in front of you. And really and truly, it's a third-person model that I'm using with the camera placed in the location of the eyes. It's not that hard. It takes maybe me being a complete freaking noob, it took me approximately 1.5 to 2 minutes. If I can do it, then a actual programmer should have no issues doing that, or developer, or what have you. So yeah, so that's something that I would like to see incorporated into the game, is an option in the menu to allow first-person view, or enable first-person view. I've gotten killed in this game because of the fact that I couldn't see my target, simply because of the third-person view. A terrain object got in the way. It just annoyed the crap. And honestly, if you look at other games and modded games and so forth, like Daisy, that's, you know, the first big example that a lot of people can relate to, because a lot of people actually played that game, or mod, whichever way you actually did it, if you bought the standalone or if you actually installed the mod for Arma 2. You could utilize first-person or third-person view. And a lot of people would actually use third-person view as an ability to see around corners. And I'm sorry, I see that as a form of cheating, and it's just pathetic. Those aren't the usual balls. The usual balls, you can actually shoot them and they fragment. I've never noticed the division tech back here. 1 division tech, yay! 49 more of those boxes, and I can roll a piece of gear once and gain 7 points on the stats. Yeah, I'm rolling my eyes. You should probably, know that I'm actually doing that, because you can't actually see it, because I can't get my freaking camera to sync up correctly with the software that I'm using to stream with. I'll have to spend some time working with that later on. So, yeah, that's my feel on first-person versus third-person views. I think that if you're going to have third-person view, at least, let us have something in the options to enable first-person view. I mean, really. How difficult would it be in this particular game engine to actually create that? Stop running for me, you freaking moron. Let's take a look. No, I didn't want to take both of them, damn it. Great, I missed out on that freaking objective. But Well, since I missed out on that one that I was trying to get accomplished before it ended. Oh, such a tease. Get on a damn aircraft carrier. You know, I posted the one big video that was addressed to Massive Please Watch, and in that video essentially what I was saying was, hey, there's some shit that you really need to give us in the game, and hey, why don't you just hire my ass to actually motivate the team to actually create some content that players actually want to see, and that would actually generate revenue for the company and pay for all of the development for content for years to come. It's actually not a bad video, you know, content-wise. There's some good ideas in there, things that would be something that a company should do, and that would not be that difficult for them to implement, that would increase revenue for the game, increase playability for the game, and cater not just towards PvP only, but for the casual gamers like myself. And for the people I try to cater towards is to more of the casual gamers. So, yeah. You've done a great job modeling this huge-ass aircraft carrier. Actually, it's relatively small whenever you compare it to real aircraft carriers, but, you know, not the point. You've got these catwalks that go over here and stairs. You've got interior spaces like over there. There's a whole walk system right over here along that. You know what? How hard would it actually be to have interior spaces, or, you know, a set of stairs to go from here down to here? I know this is supposed to be an elevator for raising and lowering aircraft, but honestly it's not being used as that, because you've got a permanent railing system right here and on this side, and on, I'm sure, this side as well. So it'd be kind of hard to roll aircraft through that section. But nonetheless, you know, you could add a set of stairs here, and maybe to where you could jump up to this one and climb up on there, be able to walk up that, go over there, climb up on there, and get back up on the carrier deck. So one of the things that I mentioned as part of the video was, even though the plans are for this shut up, the aircraft carrier to be used as part of the new Horde mode, single player cooperative mission mode. Okay, awesome, I love it, it's a great idea, let's get it in PTS so we can test it. But what I was trying to make apparent that it should happen is there should be a, and this is the prime example, is the carrier, is actually have a very small single point of entry to be able to get onto the aircraft carrier without engaging in that new mode. And my idea was actually to initiate that mode. If you've played on the PTS and you notice that if you want to try the new PvP mode, you go to the last stand starting point, and then you hit after it activate it and brings up a screen. Now you have the ability to select skirmish mode or last stand mode. Well, why not do the same thing with survival, since hell, nobody plays survival anymore anyway. Go to the survival launching point and then select that particular mode for the Horde mode or whatever it's going to be called. And then it would initiate the mission and teleport everybody over there and do your thing. However, keeping this completely separate from that, and where it is right now, have exploration mode for that. You know, in the exploration of other maps, you can actually find secret hidden locations if you know where to look and you actually take the time to explore. You could find hidden off-the-wall remote locations that contain weapon caches that contain absolutely garbage gear, but you know, the point is you actually have to look to be able to find these, and it's cool to find these new exploration points. I take my time to actually explore everywhere in the game as much as possible. And I think that if it's done correctly, you could have only one way to get in and out of the, well, you could teleport out, but only one way to get into the area where the aircraft carrier is. But to have enough hidden locations, and like a maze where you have to sit there and try to figure out, okay, if I come over here, I can climb here, then I have to come over here, go between these two things, come over to this, and then I have to climb on this, and then drop down over here, and actually create a maze type way to go. And if you spend, say, 5 minutes trying to get through this one area, only to realize that, crap, dead end. So now you have to backtrack and go somewhere else. And, you know, they're good at blocking us from getting into areas, so why not just take out one of those blocks and let us sneak into that area? And even if you never announce that it actually happens, let players, hey, look what I found. You can actually climb over the gate right here, and now you can get in there, and maybe put 5 different things in there that you can actually find that are worthwhile finding. Maybe find like these weapons cases that have division tech in it, but maybe put 5 division tech in there, or 20, or hell, put 50 in there. Make them worth finding. Make it to where it might take you an hour of exploration or more to be able to find all of the division tech caches. You know, even if you only do it the one time, or if you have it to where it's like these caches right here where it'll have 10 division tech in it, then I think that's what I would say is make it worthwhile for people to go in there. Now, you know that every time you go in there, you know, it has a respawn timer. We'll say, like the world named elites, you know, a 3-hour respawn. So if you just can't sit there and run it over and over and over and over again, you have to wait at least 3 hours before you can go back in there to get that amount of division tech. So if you know that each one of those cache boxes has 10 and there's 5 of them in there, that's enough for one roll. Otherwise, you're going to sit here and be farming the living shit out of this stupid area just to try to find a half dozen of these cases spread all over the north and south side piers. So if you spend about 30 minutes roaming around, 20 minutes roaming around, you might be able to get 10 division tech. And if you happen to complete a mission while you're in it, and you get another 10 or 20 or whatever, you know, it's just, division tech is going to be the next big currency, as if we needed another currency, and it's difficult to get. Rightly so, but make it a little bit easier. Yeah, that's just all I got to say about that. Actually, probably going to cut this video short. As I said, not feeling particularly very well this evening, so I know you were probably wanting to listen to me drone on for 2 hours about nonsense, but to kind of make up for things, what I'll do is, after a short recess, I'll come back and I'll do a couple short videos tonight, maybe a 10-minute and 15-minute video with some actual other content. The Beefalo Show is more dedicated towards talking about things in general and not just strictly gameplay material. And I'm sure you probably had a good laugh watching me fail awful hard doing Times Square Legendary, getting my ass planted, what, 2-3 times. Alright, so have a good laugh at that. And I do want to thank you for watching. Make sure that you do leave me a comment. The comments actually help me with being able to get more views, as well as leaving a like. Hit the thumbs up button. Even if you didn't like it, screw it, just hit a thumbs up anyway. The more thumbs up that I get, and the more comments that I get, the more views that I get, the more views that I get, the more potential viewers that I get. And big things are going to start happening once I hit the 1,000 subscriber mark. And even better at the 10,000 and 100,000 and 100 million and that kind of crap too. But let's start small. Let's get to 1,000, and I promise good things will happen. Alrighty. And definitely, like I said, hit that thumbs up, leave a quick comment, and please subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you back shortly.